this is Diane Hinchcliffe from Web 2.0 Expo San Francisco 2009, and I have a very special guest, Kristina Halvorson from Brain Traffic. They specialize in content strategy and delivery. Welcome, Kristina.
Thank you very much.
So I was wondering if you could tell us just a little bit about content strategy and why it matters in a Web 2.0 world.
Sure. So content strategy is something that has been practiced really for the last 10 or 12 years, but it's received very little play kind of within the larger community of people who make the web. So content strategy, as we define it at Brain Traffic, is strategy that plans for the creation, publication, and governance of content. And it's content that our customers would find, or our customers,
right,
the community's customers, will find useful, usable, and enjoyable. So this seems like something that we should have figured out kind of back in Web 1.0, but ultimately what we find is that most of our clients have it, right? Sorry, clients, that's not what I meant. What we find is that a lot of companies out there are still struggling with who owns the content.
Oh, it's a huge problem.
Who's overseeing the content? Who's ultimately responsible for creating the content and ensuring that it's going to really map carefully back to our business objectives while also meeting our user goals.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's a complicated process. So we talk about content strategy as making a plan, creating the content, publishing the content, and then governing the content.
Now, but what happens in it, like let's say user-generated content, and more sites as they get all of their customers to participate, how does it affect content strategy if you can't centrally plan it anymore?
Yep, that's an excellent question. So that is actually kind of an interesting myth that we're out there trying to bust, which is that we don't need to worry about content anymore because our users are going to create it all for us. But ultimately, obviously, that raises two really critical issues. First of which is there somebody out there governing that content? Is there somebody out there participating, listening, and responding to that content?
Does the community management play into this somehow, or kind of guiding the community in the directions that you'd like to go? Or?
Yes, it absolutely should. But the key here is that whoever is managing that community must be acting sort of under the direction and the guidance of a larger enterprise content strategy or a larger brand content strategy. What are they saying? How are they saying it? Who are they saying it to?
Right.
And how are they following up on it? Because ultimately, everything that we are putting out there in the world, whether it's on our corporate website, on our intranet, things that employees are posting on Wiki, that's all content. And rather than dealing with it as really sort of out of control, disparate, there's nothing that we can do to sort of fix
that's
or
what
govern
about.
that.
Right, yeah.
No, they're definitely, the community manager needs not just to be worried about the tools that are being provided to help users participate with the brand and generate that content, but also specifically how the organization is participating in that content creation.
Yeah, right. And this is, I think, the challenge. I see a lot of organizations don't fully understand that when they engage with people online, it's not just the content that does it anymore, is that the people behind the organization also have to kind of engage with those people and be aware of the content strategy at the same time, right?
Absolutely, and that's why today in my session I talked about the product, or the content, the process by which we are creating and overseeing that content, and then the people who are responsible for that content, because that is really a key thing. We still sort of feel like, well, everybody can write, and so everybody should just share responsibility for the content. But content is a lot more than just copywriting, or it's a lot more than just like pointing your flip video at something and then shooting a video.
No, don't tell Barbara Scoble that, but so that's very interesting. So how does content strategy get embodied in what you're doing? Is it patterns and practices that people absorb, or is it something that you make sure that the tools reflect so that it's guided by your technology infrastructure, or how is it done?
That's a really, really good question. What I would suggest is that you always start with two things. You start with your business objectives. What is it that we're trying to get done here? And that you start with also user goals on exactly the same plane. What do our users need to get done, or what are they looking for, right?
Exactly.
So if you can begin with that, then you're able to sort of map your initiatives back to those two very critical benchmarks. And that way your initiatives aren't being fueled with, let's just try it, or the CEO said we need to be on YouTube, right? Because ultimately that just ends up with a lot of useless content.
That's right, yeah.
That people don't really care about, or else it's just a flash in the pan that's not doing anything to sort of build your sales or your brand value.
Exactly. Yeah. No, very interesting. So what's what would be the top thing if somebody wants to start getting control of their content and the strategy around that? How do they get started? What do they do?
I think that the very first thing to figure out is, what do you currently have? Like, that is something that is so so overwhelming to people, and but the opportunity for us to just sort of do a slash and burn and start all over, I don't know many organizations who are in a position to do that at this point. So really getting on top of what you have, where it lives, where it's coming from, and who's participating in that content creation. That is sort of like the number one step to take to begin to identify where you want to go. Because if you don't understand where you are now, there's no way to make a plan to figure out where you need to be.
Yeah, you're out of context, right?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Kristina, thank you so much for coming down and spending time, and good luck with your endeavors.